Take this. It'll sober you up a bit.
Thanks. After that, the two women left, with harsh, condemning looks in the eyes that were focused on Takia more than me. But once our table became quiet, neither of us were in the mood for conversation. Before long, the two of us had left the bar too. Takia walked along the city streets in silence, and I followed behind him without saying a word.
Well, that was some nasty business.
Yeah, under the cold night sky, we finally find a place to sit and share our canned coffees. The warmth from the coffee permeates throughout my entire body, although I didn't need it to sober up, since I had barely drunk anything.
Sorry about that whole mess.
I was the one who caused it.
Well, I suppose you're right about that.
Ever since he chased out the girls, or perhaps even since we met up, Takia had been very relaxed. Among the four of us, he was careful not to stir anything up. Instead, he stuck to the backseat role and threw in a laugh or two when he could. Make sure to make up with Yeo later, okay? I won't be able to smooth things out between you two any longer.
You're worried about us at this stage? Have you forgotten the mess you're in?
Well, that's expected. Not even he could hide his frustration this far in.
Why do I have to pick up the pieces after that mess?
Pick up the pieces?
Irrespective of whether you're right or wrong, I, out of all people, should know that you never budge once you've made up your mind.
Takia.
Seriously, why do things have to be like this?
No, perhaps it was his plan to lose his cool halfway through from the start, to settle the score alone with me, so he can take on all the responsibility by himself when he fails to convince me. It's almost as though he's ready to take on the responsibility for all my actions. The winter cold pierces through me much harsher than usual. Perhaps because I didn't drink all that much. The canned coffee I had in my hand had turned cold before I knew it, and was no longer suitable to warm my hands. Takia. I'm not sure if I'm feeling cold because of the loneliness that's welling up within me, or if it's because of another reason. Could you listen to what I have to say? The only thing I wanted to do was to convey something to the only person standing in front of me. I wanted to tell him a single truth, with just a few excuses put in.
Hojo University Hospital? That's pretty under wraps. The mass media doesn't know a thing, huh?
It seems a lot of politicians and artists are being taken care of there. They're probably used to that kind of care. When Takia heard about Tomoyoko's illness and the place she was staying at, he was at a loss for words. It's only natural for him to react that way, I suppose. In fact, he's taking this much better than expected. Perhaps it's because Yoko-san is nothing but a stranger to him. Or perhaps because he figured something out from my behavior. I'd prefer if you didn't say a word of this to anyone, of course. It could make a lot of noise here in Japan.
Not even to Setsuna-chan?
Especially not to Setsuna.
Why not? It's one of your reasons for leaving, isn't it?
That's just an excuse. And it doesn't change the fact that I'm making the wrong choice.
You're right. You made the wrong choice. You should have talked about this honestly to Setsuna-chan.
The wrong choice Takia was referring to was a bit different from what I was thinking of.
Had you spoken to her about it honestly, Setsuna-chan could have carried the burden with you.
Probably. It is Setsuna after all. But we both know that the central point of the issue is different between us.
Had you done that, then perhaps you would have been able to find a better solution.
And then I start to understand. Takia is drifting away from the point on purpose.
Is there no such choice? Is it still not possible for the three of you to talk it out together?
For us to share our wisdom together, carry each other's burdens, and perhaps find a better solution to all this? Sharing the pain amongst the three of us, something I'd usually suggest. That's no longer possible.
Why?
But that choice is... I've already decided to live with Kazusa from now on, and I swore to not involve Setsuna in it.
There might be greater happiness if you do involve her. I'm certain Setsuna-chan herself would agree.
Even then, I can't anymore.
Then tell me why.
If we shared the burden among the three of us, then I might be unable to pick Kazusa anymore.
You...
I could only make that kind of choice once I was determined to give up on Kazusa. I really loved Kazusa all along. I wanted to make her mine alone. But if Kazusa's burden is shared amongst the three of us, and the three of us become happy because of that, I thought I was over her 2 years ago. But I was wrong. Even after all this time, nothing has changed. I only piled up lie over lie for these 2 years until I started believing them myself. Then Kazusa will stop trying to make me hers. She'll disappear by herself before I know it. That's why I can't rely on Setsuna. It's all just because of my ego. It will be a future without Kazusa by my side. 3 will find happiness. 2 will find happiness in each other, while 2 will be left without the happiness they want.
You're despicable, you know that? And Touma is just as bad.
Kazusa has nothing to do with it. It's all
No
mine.
matter how much you try to defend her, and no matter what her circumstances may be, nothing changes the fact that she has done something terrible. She's trying to make a man her own, even if it means breaking up a relationship between 2 people who truly love each other and are even engaged. Out of all the women I've met, I have never encountered such a terrible woman. I wouldn't get within 10 feet of her.
I had nothing to counter him with. Stop it. Stop it. Because emotions are filling my mind rather than reason. Don't say bad things about Kazusa. Not my Kazusa. Nothing but those laughable responses came to mind.
I misjudged you. I always thought you were a man of good judgment. At the very least, I thought you had better judgment than me.
Takia sees that I have nothing to respond with. So he breathes a sigh as if he's had enough. Just a few moments before, he had shut down Io and Yanagihara-san and proclaimed himself as my ally.
I don't even want to talk to you right now. That's how much of a poor opinion I have of you.
I'm sorry, but in time, even Takia leaves my side.
But I'm still your friend. I may not have any desire to be, but even then, I'm still your friend.
Takia?
So, this will be my last request. I'm begging you, Haruki. Go back to your usual self. If you only say the word, if you say you're going back to Setsuna-chan, then I'll make sure everything goes back to normal.
Hey,
I'll convince Io, Tomo, and everyone else too. I'll make sure every single thing you said today is forgotten. So please, please.
this guy.
I'm begging you. Take it all back. All you have to do is say it was a bad joke and apologize.
Really was a true friend of mine. The only one I had. And I'll probably never be able to see him again. He was another person I considered most important to me, in a different way than both Setsuna and Kazusa. Takia, I can't do that. He was someone that was truly precious to me. I knew I was wrong from the very beginning. Even so, it's not like I wanted to set things right from the very beginning either.
Why? Why though? I can't believe it. Why, Haruki?
Damn it, I'm such an idiot. I only realize how precious our friendship is when I'm about to lose it. I've always been like this. I'm stupid down to my core. All of this is really so stupid. Everything I've done up until now could only be described that way. I try to do the right thing, but I get it wrong. And even when I know what the right thing is, I still do the wrong thing. New discoveries, happiness, frustration, pain, and nostalgia that I once shared with him are brought to my mind.
But this is just too big of a mistake. Not even I could mess up that badly. How could you abandon such a good girl like Setsuna-chan?
In this hopeless situation, the expression he desperately tried to keep in this hopeless situation, the expression he desperately tried to keep to prevent himself from crying, slackened for just a moment.
Take it back. If not, then this time I'll truly have no choice but to disdain you.
I know that.
I won't be able to defend you. I won't want to defend you. I'll be forced to admit that you're an awful person.
Don't defend me anymore. You'll end up losing your friends too, you know?
Haruki, you can't be serious.
Thank you, Takia.
It's not true. It can't be true.
But please, don't cry anymore. Because I don't have the right to cry. I don't have the right to be sad. All this is due to my own actions. There is not a single thing that couldn't have been prevented. I willingly chose this avoidable fate out of my own desire alone. You can go already. Nothing will change from talking any further.
Wait a minute.
I'm really, really grateful to you, Takia. Thanks to you, I found a tiny bit of salvation. If you're not going, then I'll go ahead. Bye then.
I'll never forgive you. I won't forgive you for the rest of my life, Haruki.
It's already been destroyed, though. Even so, up until a few moments ago, there was true friendship between us. Goodbye forever, Takia.
God damn it!
I can go on believing that. It seems like the trains are still operating. In this section that never sleeps, even in the middle of a snowy night, the ticket gates continue to spew forth countless people. Perhaps I felt relieved by seeing the big crowd of people in front of the station. Or perhaps I felt overwhelmed by all the things that had happened up until now. And before I knew it, I was looking up at the sky. The bright lights of the city make most of the stars invisible, with only the bright moon watching over the city. It felt like I was dreaming. Of course, it was not a good dream. He was the first friend I ever made after I enrolled in high school. He was always at the center of all my relationship problems. I thought that our friendship would stick around whether I wanted it or not. I worried about their future. Those two have been stuck together for longer than Takia and me, yet they're never honest with each other. So I'd get irritated at how nothing ever progressed between them. I thought to myself that one day I would be able to do something for them, the same way they helped me out. Yet, all the strings that brought us three together have been cut loose, all because of my own mistakes, and my mistakes alone. Even so, with the way things have turned out, I don't even have the time to lament over it. I can't even cry over Yanagihara hating me, Io being fed up with me, and losing my best friend, Takia. Tell me, God, was what I did truly so awful? Hello? This is Kirihara.
It's Okuso, Setsuna's father.
Good evening. Yes, of course it was. February 23rd, Saturday.
Huh? Kirihara-san?
I thought the bicycle passing by me stopped to make way for me, yet its rider spoke with a voice I recognized.
What's the matter? Do you have business at our place?
What about you, Takahiro-kun? Are you going out this late? Yet, I wouldn't call the meeting miraculous, just a small coincidence. After all, I'm only 200 meters away from the Ogaso household.
About that, I received 2 tickets for a late screening. It's the film I promised to watch with a friend. And apparently, the director is even meeting with the audience too.
Oh, you got them for free?
Yeah, my mom got them for me. She knew a guy who owned stock in the theater.
I see. And the reason for Takahiro being out this time is neither a coincidence nor a miracle. He was lured away.
Sis isn't home right now, you know? Yanagihira-san came in about an hour ago and left with her.
Oh, I see. So, They even lured away Setsuna.
That's strange. Did you two promise to meet today?
No, not really. I'm not going to your place today. I have some business to take care of somewhere else around here.
How?
Is he trying to be considerate? Or did his mother tell him to?
Oh, by the way, since you're here, I might as well ask.
Huh? What is it?
Have you and Sis been fighting?
What gives you that impression? It was a very predictable question.
Because she's been weird lately. As soon as she comes back from work, she just locks herself in her room. She always eats out and never shows her face around the living room anymore.
And the way Takahiro describes Setsuna's current condition was also something that I'd anticipated.
Just 2 days ago, when I saw her in the corridor, she immediately went back into her room, almost as if she was running away from me.
As is the fact that Takahiro-kun has noticed by now that something is wrong with her.
And when I got angry and knocked on her door, I heard her turning the lock on it. I see. You do know something about it. You wouldn't be so quiet otherwise.
I'm no match for you, am I? Truly, I am no match for the Ogaso family and their love for each other. Everyone's always concerned for each other, and even the slightest change in behavior catches their attention, and they don't hesitate to try helping each other, something that never existed in the Kitahara family, and something that was completely one-sided in the Touma family. That kind of heartwarming love.
What are you doing, Kitahara-san? The two of you just got engaged.
You're right. I was supposed to become a part of this family before long. That shining jewel on Setsuna's finger was supposed to light up my way to a brighter future.
Make up soon, okay? I can't bear how things are at home right now.
Sorry, but I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
You don't have to apologize, you know. Let your actions speak for themselves.
Sorry. I have to go now. But there is absolutely nothing I can do other than apologize.
Okay. See ya.
Right. Have fun. Takahiro is out, and Setsuna is away. The only people waiting for me at the Ogaso household are those two. In other words, this is something they don't want their children to see, and a conversation they don't want them to hear.
Hey, Tomo! Why have you been so quiet since we came here? Quiet? You come force me out of my home, and then all you do is drink tea. I didn't have anything else to do. That can't be true. Every time you have time on your hands, you either go to the beauty salon or go training. On some weekends, I prefer doing nothing. It's me, isn't it? You're worried about me because of last week. I have no idea what you're talking about. Sorry about back then. I behaved really inappropriately. There's no reason to apologize. After all, I'm on your side, and I'm your friend. Thank you! But I'm fine now. I've decided to keep doing my best. It might be a bit unreasonable for me to ask this, considering what I did, but I want you to forget all about last week. Forget? you just said you had no idea what I was talking about, right? So, it shouldn't be difficult for you. I wasn't crying back then. In fact, I had absolutely no reason to cry in the first place. Setsuna, true, we ran into some obstacles, but we've had plenty of those before, and we've always overcome them. Does that mean? So, I'll continue doing my best. I'll give it everything I have. That's the way our relationship has been from the start. So, I'll be fine this time too. Setsuna, stop it. Don't force yourself to act strong. I'm not forcing myself. After all, the person who taught me that everyone will be rewarded if they keep their heart strong is none other than... Don't push yourself so much. It's okay to cry. You have every right to be hurt right now, Setsuna. What are you talking about? It's okay to show your weak side sometimes. To us, and even to him. You're wrong. I can't rely on anyone else. This is a problem with my feelings. If only I can manage to keep a strong heart, everything will be solved. What you should be doing right now is clinging to Kitahara-san. You've got it wrong. Stop worrying about appearances. Don't try to act like you're okay. Don't blame yourself. Don't keep everything to yourself. Like I said, you've got it all wrong. Let your feelings come out. Tell him not to go. Tell him not to leave you behind. Tell that to him and let everyone know. If you do that, I'm sure he'll come back to you. As long as he realizes how much he's hurting you, he'll... After all, he's always had a strong sense of responsibility. We'll help you too. I promised we'll sway Kitahara's feelings. You don't have to do anything unnecessary. This is a matter between the three of us. It has nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with us? How could you? Sorry. Perhaps that came out a bit strong. But you really don't have to do anything. I don't particularly mind, but isn't that a bit unfair to Mizusawa-san and Izuka-san? How many times do you think they've helped you out? I know, and I love them, but I'll have to insist this one time. Why? Because everyone will start blaming Haruki-kun. They'll say he's in the wrong or something stupid like that. Do you mean that what he said to you was so cruel that we can't possibly understand? It's because you say things like that I don't want to talk about it. So that's why you don't want us to intervene? It's because you know the fault is on Kitahara-san's side? Haruki-kun is not in the wrong. We merely hit a snag. If only we can talk it out, he'll understand. Setsuna. So please, don't say a word to Haruki-kun. I'll talk to him myself, and I'll take as much time as I need. I know more about him than anyone. Please, leave us be for now. Setsuna, I'll come up with something. So please, don't back him into a corner. It's too late for that.
I apologize for calling you here on your day off. No, it's no trouble. By the time I entered the living room, the mood was already painfully heavy. Maybe it's because of the weight I carry with me, or perhaps it's caused by Setsuna's parents at the thought of speaking to me. It's probably both. Under normal circumstances, we wouldn't have to speak to you about this directly, especially at a time when Setsuna is not around, which I'm aware is not commendable. No, I don't really mind. However, we have been very concerned about Setsuna, and we don't consider you to be an outsider to our family, Kitahara-kun. Though, if you disagree with that assumption, you may correct me. I don't disagree. I'm glad that you think so. Hearing that was supposed to be something happy. I visited the Ogaso family more times than I can count. And Setsuna's mother and Takehiro-kun have long since considered me as part of the family. Yet, today is the first time I'm hearing her father suggest such a thing. Let's get into the matter at hand. Yes, and now I cannot even feel the slightest happiness over being accepted as someone close to the family. Let me first confirm, Kitahara-kun. Do you have any idea why we called you here today? I do. Setsuna's father and I face one another, while her mother looks at us from the side, clearly restless and shuffling between looking at us and looking away, almost like a completely different person from the woman who would gossip to me about Setsuna's complaints and fondness towards me, only to get glared at by Setsuna for it. Tension, uncertainty, worry, and fear mixed together in her eyes. Those eyes tell me she is praying. At the beginning of this month, the last time you were here, you talked with us about your future together with Setsuna, with many implications.
Darling, that was just something Takehiro and I decided was the case on our own. And it was something we thought would only happen quite far in the future.
And most likely, I'm looking back at them with the same look on my face as hers. If that's the case, we can set the record straight now. That he never made such a promise. That he never spoke to Setsuna about their future together. No. I put my hands on my lap and closed them tightly. There's enough sweat in my clenched fist to spill out between my fingers. I can tell exactly how this is going to play out. A short while before that, I gave Setsuna, your daughter, a ring. We also spoke of our future, a chain of events that I never desired, but one that I can't avoid. And would I be correct to assume that your intention was to marry her? Yes, at that time. At the time. At the time, huh? The two of them might have thought that those words were a slip of the tongue. And what exactly does that mean? Are we correct to assume your intentions are still the same as back then? However, it was planned from the start. A means to guide the conversation in the right direction. Would we be correct to assume that you desire to spend the future with Setsuna, our daughter? About that. It's a direction that I do not want to head in, yet one I cannot avoid. No matter how many times I think of getting away from it, I always end up back here again. So, I want to at least avoid prolonging the pain. Not just for myself, but for Setsuna's parents too. I'm sorry. Circumstances have changed since then.
Kitahara-san!
I cannot marry Setsuna, your daughter. Please allow me to take back my proposal. Please, let this be over with already. I acknowledge all my wrongdoings, so hurry up and give me my judgment. I'll accept any punishment, so please, quickly, acknowledge my error.
What did you say? They should be talking about it right now. Him and your parents. The reason I took you here today is because your mom asked me to. She told me that they wanted to talk to Kitahara-san without you. Why? Why would they? Because they probably know. They knew that you'd definitely protect Kitahara-san if you were around. That wasn't my question! Why do Mom and Dad... Tomo, did you tell them? Your mother was the one who let us know. They noticed that something was wrong with the way you were acting since some time ago. That's why I met up with Kitahara-san yesterday to get the truth. With the help of Izuka-san and Misusawa-san. Even Hio and Dakia-kun? Everyone knows already. All the horrible things Kitahara-san said to you. All those horrible things he did. This isn't something you can sort out on your own anymore, Setsuna. You'll just end up forgiving him. You won't be able to make him regret what he's done. Regret? There is no reason for that. All I have to do is find a way for the three of us to be together. Only I can find a better solution. That will make Kitahara come back to you. He's going to Europe with Tomokazu-sa. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Setsuna, why is everyone so set on backing Haruki into a corner? Why are you all so quick to jump to conclusions? That's because what he's saying right now is utterly absurd. What he's done to you is beyond cruel. It's not over yet. It's not all over between us yet. So why are people trying to end it when it's none of their business? None of our business? Stop it! Stop it already! Stop acting against Haruki-kun! Stop getting mad over your own misunderstandings! Stop deciding that it's all over! How can you say that? I'm going home. This should cover the bill. I was just worried about you, and don't call me from now on, because I won't answer. I do feel bad about it, but you don't have to say it like that.
Setsuna's dad is looking at me with a stern look, and her mum can't stop crying. They're both deeply affected by my selfish words. They're both deeply affected by my selfish words, coming from their daughter's ex-boyfriend, just her boyfriend. A reminder that they saw me as someone special to the family.
May I ask why?
I'm in love with a different woman.
That can't be.
Which is why my words also have a weight heavier than the words of an ex-boyfriend. A weight heavy enough to crush their hearts. I can imagine the emotions that are violently boiling within them right now. They must be furious and grief-stricken at how I ended up ruining their daughter, who they raised with utmost love and care. And I imagine they're also carrying an immeasurably deep hatred towards me.
Surely that has to be a lie, right? That can't be what you told Setsuna.
Mom, even so, they still try to assume the best of me.
There's another reason for this, right? She can be really inconsiderate sometimes. Maybe it's that?
That's not it. Not even a little bit.
Did you have a disagreement over who to invite to the wedding? Or you couldn't agree on whether you should continue with your current job after the marriage?
Like I said, that's not it.
If it's anything to do with what we have said, then you don't have to worry about it. The most important thing is what you two want together. So, please.
That's not it, really. It really is just a change of heart on my side alone. Setsuna hasn't done anything wrong.
That can't be.
That unwarranted trust and the pain I feel as I watch it all collapse without leaving a trace.
I thought you.
And then,
I thought you to be a man who just wouldn't ever say something like that of all things.
Father, without time to tend to my wounds, the next sharp needle pierces my chest.
Due to circumstances, we might not have the best impression on one another. I admit, I avoided you, and you may have wanted to keep me at arm's length.
That was not the case.
But the reason I acted that way was because Setsuna trusted and loved you completely, and I felt like it was out of my hands.
He's controlling his emotions and speaks calmly. However, his calmness does not suggest a lack of emotion from my betrayal at all.
I thought of telling her he might just be tricking you, or see what happened last time? But those weren't words I could tell my daughter, because I thought that you loved Setsuna from the bottom of your heart. I thought you were a man I could trust.
I'm so sorry.
I raise my voice without realizing it. I have almost no memories left of being scolded by my father. Yet I can feel that the might in this man's voice has that same sternness. I had ever dreamed about the day I could call him my father, where he would give me a light scolding over a pint of beer. Yet the words he spoke to me now are neither kind nor are they affectionately trying to lecture me. It was a powerful and stern voice that was defending a man's family from an enemy.
I'm so sorry. I apologize.
Seeing that his words made me shrink, he lets out a sorrowful sigh. I couldn't even come up with an excuse, much less contradict him. In the end, I could never tell him I'm not wrong.
Well then, what are you going to do now?
I'll speak to Setsuna one more time. I won't ask her to understand, but I hope I can at least convince her to forget me.
However, you're in this city. You live and work here. You could still pass each other by on the train or on the streets.
That won't...
Do you not think it's unfair to ask that of her? To forget about you despite you being so close to her?
Please don't worry. I don't think we'll ever see each other again.
How do you intend on convincing us of that?
I'll be leaving the city soon. From April, I'll be living abroad.
Abroad? Is it a part of a job transfer?
Maybe that's the reason you're breaking up with Setsuna? You don't want to keep her waiting by yourself when you're out and...
You've got it wrong, Mom. Setsuna's mother is desperately trying to find a proper explanation that puts me in a positive light up until the very end. And as a result, the sins I've committed only become more vivid in my mind. That's where she lives. I'm going to Vienna. I'm sorry for all the trouble I've caused you. She finally realized it. She's realized who my partner is. She's realized that it's the friend Setsuna once brought home from school 5 years ago. Is everything settled now? Or is there anything else? I'm trying to run away right now. The way I tried to avoid any further questions was utterly despicable attempt to end the conversation. If there's nothing else to talk about, I'll be... Even so, I have no other choice right now. I didn't have the strength to bring up her name here. I stand up and bow to the two parents, who are still stiff as two rocks, and open the living room door. Right in front of the door, I bump into someone in the corridor, and Setsuna's mother, who realized who that someone was, opened her tear-filled red eyes in horror. In other words, I wasn't the only one who didn't expect this. Were you listening? His shoulders were shaking. His head was hanging in the darkness, so his face was hidden. Yet both of his hands were clenched in anger, and his whole body looked petrified. I'm sorry. That alone was enough for me to tell how long he had been listening for, and his feelings came through to me almost painfully.
Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below. Setsuna is lucky to have so many friends and family who love her and support her. Haruki, on the other hand, has even lost Takia now, and is on his own. I usually don't think a girlfriend is worth losing your friends, but I've never been in love like Haruki describes. Usually, I'm picturing a situation where a girlfriend goes, "It's your friends or me?" And in that case, I would just say, "Well, see ya, bitch."